Hello, Blaine. How are you, sir? You want a lunch break? Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Matt. How are you? Sitting down by the water, by the water. Thank you for that award, Blaine. Thank you, kind sir. See all the seagulls sitting there chit chatting. What is what? Wait, what, Matt? What? Huh? Toodlos? What does that mean? What is that? How you doing? Just dropped off my mama. The wind blowing my weave around. I need a nice big flowing weave with cornrows and beads in it. Gotta look like Bo Derek. Go running down the beach, like that beach right over there. Hello, Helga. How are you? Welcome to New York. I'm sitting down by the water. How are you doing today, Helga? Why don't you turn on your call-ins? You can't have call-ins if you're on Periscope. And it's not, and Matt, it works differently. You don't just turn it on. I have to invite specific people. And when I'm in the car, it's a little too complicated to do that. Hopefully everybody's doing good. It's nice and windy. Helga, are you in the Netherlands? Are you in the Netherlands, or are you in New Jersey? I can't remember. No, Matt, it does not. You don't just turn it on. You have to invite people, and I cannot invite you from Periscope. I'm not on Periscope. I'm broadcasting on Haps. I can't have a guest from Periscope join me on Haps. Um, you're in the Netherlands, okay? I have family in the Netherlands. You know, from my family tree when they left Germany. A lot of there were 16 siblings in the 1846 that when they left Germany, and a few of them stayed in Europe. Um, and there's a branch of my family in the Netherlands. I can't say the name because it's very easily traced, but I met some of my family members on Facebook from that branch. Yeah, it's neat. Just wait until it shuts down. Yeah, that's okay. How's everybody's day going? It's happy Friday. Happy Friday. Helga, I saw you in Michael Bathhouse's uh, his broadcast last week. It's very nice to meet you and see you. It's very sunny here. It's 30. Ooh, it's 30 something degrees. Let's see, 38. Let's see. It is. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, 36 degrees. It's supposed to go down to 25 tonight. Ooh. Ooh. We live on Long Island. An idea of where I am. What's for lunch? I'm on a diet, so I'm not having lunch right now. Not much. Just I like to come down by the water. I grew up down here, so it's peaceful. I like to come down and sometimes just turn on the camera and share the water. Yeah, I love living on the water. If you look right across there, beyond that dock, is Fire Island. I don't know if you've ever been to Long Island, Helga. Yeah, I just it's just so peaceful. Yeah, I definitely I could never move away from it. Not on purpose. Yes, yeah. It's part of New York. It's Long Island is an island off of Manhattan. Yeah, I'm about an hour from Manhattan. Hello, Colin. How are you, sir? Helga, if you are available, you're welcome to come in. If you want to come in and say hello. I think I've never done the guest thing on my cell phone on my phone, but you're welcome to join if you'd like. Yes, you can. Okay, or I'll send you an invite. How about you, Colin? You want to come in? You want to pop in and say hello? I know that you are. It's in the evening for you, right? It's almost dinner time for you. Now let me see. I don't have any earphones, so there you go. How are you? Hello there. Hold on a second. Let me see. Can anybody, if you would, if you could, just eating? Okay. All right. Gotcha. I'm not sure. Hold on a second, because I can't hear you. Let me see.
I didn't speak.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I don't know how to do it on the mobile. I only know how to do it on the
You're
computer.
fine.
Okay.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, my pleasure. Nice to have you in here. Can somebody, Colin, can you tell me, is Helga showing up on the screen? Because on the mobile device, you can't see what the, let me see what the show live shows. There we go. Okay. Behind you. I see your picture now. Okay. Okay, great. So how are you, Helga?
I'm fine, thank you.
Doing good?
Yes, I'm good.
Good.
I'm
Have a
going
good
to
day.
be live later on.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
What time New York time?
I'm waiting for Eric,
Uh-huh. I like Eric.
and Des will join me, so it won't be so scared. I
Okay.
am.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on the notifications. I have my notifications turned on for you and Eric.
Yes, and uh, I try to make sorry, a notification,
Hmm.
and I wrote that I will be going live with Eric and Des,
Okay.
and who likes to join.
Okay.
So everybody is invited. I don't know
Okay.
how I will make Eric or someone else the operator, or
Right.
how do you
Yeah.
call it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
then we will sit
director.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and just have yeah, we will see what will happen.
Yeah. Is that the first time you'll be starting as a host?
Yeah.
Host. Okay. Good. You doing it from from the computer or from your phone?
Oh, for my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's. I know the computer because I usually broadcast from home on my
Uh-huh.
computer, and there's a lot more functions available to the computer. Uh,
Oh, I'm totally not uh technical with this.
yeah, I have to say it's very. If you want, if you would like to one day, if you're, I know our times are about 6 hours apart. Right? It's 2:20 my time now. Is it 6 hours? Is it 8:20 by you or 7:20?
Yeah, 8.
Okay, so we're 6 hours apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you ever need help practicing on the computer, if you have a computer at the house, I can, I
a
don't mind
laptop.
going live with you and then playing around with it.
Is that the same as a laptop then? Does
Yes.
it use? Okay,
Yeah.
then I can put it on my laptop.
Yeah. Yeah. No, all you do is go to you don't even have to download anything on the computer. You go to the website. So you use a Chrome browser, Google
Oh,
Chrome.
okay,
Yeah. So it's easy. You don't have to download anything. It
okay.
does, it does require really good internet because it
I have
does use a lot of power on the computer.
no, I have a
Good.
good internet.
And if as long as you have the computer with nothing on, no other programs in the background, it should run pretty smooth. But you'd be surprised. There's 10 times more things on as a computer, and you can see
Not
all
for
the
me.
comments on the screen. You can see
Oh,
all the viewers. You can see the multiple screens. You go back and forth.
you, I only have one. I don't. I have Facebook, but I don't connect apps with Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
So
I don't. Yeah, I deleted Facebook. I didn't want it.
yeah, I'm not going to stay on Facebook anymore. This is where I need to be
Yeah, I agree.
because I will stop and oh, oh, that is what you wrote. Ah, before I enter the room. Duh.
No, no, it's all good.
I'm so happy with this platform, really. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's really just a great community. A little bit of everybody, all different cultures, different backgrounds, different people,
Yeah.
friendly. Um, Facebook, Facebook is very catty. I find very clicky, um, very divisive, and I just don't like the
Yeah.
company, and I think they're evil. So I deleted them. But Periscope, I don't know if you were on Periscope, but Periscope became very because of people's ability to be anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Periscope became very like people were going in and picking on people and really doing just really bad things. Using it for it was like almost being in high school with a bunch of mean
Yeah.
kids picking on somebody, and they would go out of their
Mm-hmm.
way to go out and terrorize people in their broadcasts and trolling and inappropriate statements and going in and saying really just inappropriate things to women as they're broadcasting. It
Mm-hmm.
just became like a really foul. Um, and I have a college frat boy sense of humor, so I can laugh with it. But
Mm-hmm.
it was not made to be fun. It was just people picking
No,
on each other. It used to
I
be
don't
very
like
good.
that
It used
too.
to be like this. It used to be like
Yeah.
this. Everybody looked out for each other. Everybody tried to promote each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fortunately, Haps they seem to be now that and as it gets bigger, they're not going to be able to like Peter and the people in the company. They're not going to be able to keep track of everybody. It's just going to grow too much to where the community is going to have to keep an eye on each other. Right now, the owners and the management are pretty well involved, but just the numbers are going to grow to the point where they're not going to be able to do what they do now and police everything.
Well,
But
you know, we create with every word that we say, every
mm-hmm.
thought that we allow to
Yeah,
be.
yep, yep.
So
Put good
let
energy
us
out there.
who are already on HAPS, we can protect HAPS by what we say, what we, um,
How we conduct ourselves. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Yeah, and and like, you know, most of my existence on Periscope it was for fun. It was all like, I never ever even talked about my business. I still don't tell people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't discuss in detail about what type of business I'm in, because
Mm-hmm.
I had people try to find me because they didn't like what I said and they were trying to hurt me with my business. So there's a lot of evil people that are on social media. So you have to be very careful on what information you give out, because if you piss off the wrong person, they can get some of their friends to try to hurt you financially or with your job. And I know you said you're not working, but you know I know people who have lost their jobs because of things that people have done on here. Not here, not Habs, but Periscope.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're just,
So
you know,
let us
Twitter.
all protect it with the right words, with the right intention,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
then I feel that those people will find another place to do that what they
I hope
want to
so.
do.
I have no problem sending them there. Boop, like blocking them. Bippity boppity boo, block them.
Yeah.
I have zero patience for it. But you know, I know you just recently followed me. Just to give you full disclosure, I curse like a truck driver sometimes, especially if I've had a
Mm-hmm.
few beverages, adult beverages, um, and we just laugh about silly, stupid things just to enjoy life and decompress from our stressful lives. And this used to be our escape. Periscope was. So we had a very close knit, very close family of friends on Periscope that we still
Mm-hmm.
in contact. I've had some of them stay at our house. They've come to stay for a week. We had a really great community on Periscope, and when it became toxic, I left. But we still
Mm-hmm.
communicate with those people because they, you know, once you know good people, you just can stick with them. Um, you know, but you know, I am definitely, I can offend just about anybody out there because I just love to laugh, and life is too you can't take life too serious. So, you know, you got to try to figure out how to laugh at some of this shit so you can make it through the day.
Definitely.
That's how I feel, you know. So some people are turned off by my cursing. I'm the furthest from religious or well behaved church boy.
Okay. So that's a fair warning.
Yeah. I you know, and I'm not offended by, you know, by somebody who has issues with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and it's really, people who know me know my story know that, you know, I have plenty of reason to just, you know, enjoy
Make
life
fun
and
of it.
just enjoy it in the
Yeah.
moment, because these little laughs and stuff like that make it, when you turn this camera off and you're dealing with life, the challenges having these releases are necessary sometimes, for me at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And especially with COVID, we can't see our friends, so this is even more an escape for somebody. So, but it's really, but I love Michael. He's just such a good, he's a character. He just comes out with stuff, and he's, you know, he's very direct, which I like. Um, he's, but I like the spiritual connection. You know, I'm not turned off by that. Some people are turned off by it. I'm not at all. I believe that
Mm-hmm.
I believe humans have a lot more capabilities and powers than they know.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
Because
Good.
we are not this human.
It's really true. It's and the way I relate it to somebody is like, I could think about somebody who I haven't seen or spoken to in 10 years, and all of a sudden the phone will ring, or I'll see something later in the day that refers to them out of the blue. There's sometimes
It's not
we
out
have
of the
this
blue.
connection with people sometimes.
We have a soul connection. We have an energy connection.
Hmm.
We are that person.
Hmm. Absolutely. And we're very,
So
and the more
that
you
is
can
why when you
enjoy
tap
life.
in, yeah, when you tap in,
Mhm.
everything is possible.
Absolutely. Yep.
Everything
There,
is possible.
there are times that I've I have friends that I've met online that I've never met in person. It's in one or two of them. I text every single day. We text and just send each other funny stuff, sometimes inappropriate funny stuff, just to make a laugh. And sometimes
Mhm.
we'll text each other at the exact same time because we thought of each other at the same time. And I've never met them.
Yeah.
Um, it's really. I totally believe it. I don't come from a religious background, so
Mhm.
I'm agnostic. I believe that there's a higher power. I just don't buy into the cultish religion.
You know, they believe also in a higher power, but outside of themselves.
And I believe there's definitely a higher power than me and than humans, and the energy that surrounds all of us. Some of us can tap into it more than others. That's where I stand. And I believe in doing what I would want done to me. And so
Hmm.
I wake up and I want to, my goal is to, even if it's for holding a door open for somebody extra long, that's something that's stupid and small that people wouldn't even think of, can make somebody's day more bearable than it was a minute ago. So if I can make the planet, or at least attempt to make the planet a better place than I found it when I woke up, that's my goal.
Me too. You know, I've been listening to some people. I'm not going to call names because that is not important. It is about the point. Some people they strive for money and just to get, and then uh, they will be happy so that they don't have problems for the future. Okay,
Right.
I am different because if I think for myself, I want to be rich so that I can do everything what I want.
Mm-hmm.
What about all the peoples, all the children, all those who don't have anything?
Mm-hmm.
I rather have less so that others also can have.
Right. And if but and I agree with that, but at the same time I want more, because I know that I would be able to help a lot of those people who will never have that. um, and I'm responsible and unselfish enough to pass that on and pay it forward to people. um, so I wouldn't mind having too much money. um, because the freer I am, that I know for myself that I would do a lot of really good things with it. Um,
I
there are
got
some
it.
people are just they're gluttonous, greedy
Do you
pieces
hear
of
me?
shit. That's different.
I don't
That
hear you. I'm
there's a
going
lot of people
to
that can do well with money.
refresh, okay?
Pardon me. You gonna refresh? Okay. Hello, Takara. I'm sorry I didn't. When you get into a deep conversation, sometimes it's difficult to keep up with the comments. So I apologize. Hello, everybody. Hello from Columbus.
Hello,
Hello from New
everybody.
York.
I apologize too that we are so in the talk.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. It's good talk. So hopefully it's. Colin said you talk a lot of sense. Thank you, Colin. Um, you know what? My mother. I grew up in a very philanthropic family. Um, my family did, I guess, better than average. Not they didn't have a lot, but they didn't keep it all to themselves. Um, my mother, I remember from a very young age, I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I remember standing at the back of a tractor trailer because my mother would collect clothes and food for Native Americans, and the tractor trailer used to pull up at our house and pull up to our barn, and they would just put all the stuff in the back. So my mother's always been in that kind of mode with fundraising and taking care of the less fortunate. She started the the ASPCA, which is an animal organization. She was one of the first people on Long Island, where I am, to come out here to prevent cruelty to animals. So we I come from that kind of think of others, kind of background. I definitely love nice things. I definitely like nice shiny cars. I like my nice shiny stuff, my
Okay.
good electronics. So I'll definitely I don't deprive myself of anything. The like where my father, just from being Germans, they're just cheap. They're just cheap people.
The Dutch
they don't
people
want to.
too.
They don't want to. They don't want to give away their first
Right.
nickel.
Yeah.
And
I'm
because
a giver too.
what's that?
I'm a giver.
Yeah, I could tell just by the first day I saw you on Michael's. I could tell you, even though you were a woman of very few words that day, I could just tell that you were just that similar type of person that we're talking about. The
You know,
God.
um, when I was young, I didn't know about this all about gemstones, about uh, bird sign, about energy, about
Mm,
um creating my own reality.
right.
I came from the Christian belief, the Pentecostal belief.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sorry,
That's
that was
okay.
my son.
Okay.
And all I could remember was that I was always fearful of God.
Okay.
And I couldn't understand that was love
Mm,
and that he allowed people to kill each other.
right.
So I thought this God couldn't be the God who created everything.
Right.
So there must be someone else
Right.
or something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I left the church and I start to live my own life.
Mm,
Got my children in sin because that
mm,
is what the Bible, what church teaches.
right. And sin
But
meaning
now
what?
I
Out
know.
of marriage?
Sorry?
Uh, You had your children in sin. What is that?
Yeah, out of marriage,
Okay.
not in marriage. So,
Right. Okay.
but I love my children,
Right.
and I know source, and I don't call him God because God is a human term.
Right.
Even source is a human term.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I very much agree.
I can't say that I am God, but I know I'm a tiny bit of all.
Mm-hmm. I I I fully agree. I'm gay. My
That's
mother. I'm one of four boys in a family. My mother was Catholic. My father was Protestant. My father was adamantly opposed to my mother educating us through the Catholic religion because of the corruption in the Catholic Church. I'm just gonna. I'm sitting at this parking lot. I just want to move my car around.
it's
Um,
okay.
the I came out as gay when I was 19 years old. As
Mm-hmm,
you can imagine, in the 1980s, it was not a popular thing to do that.
mm-hmm.
Um, Knowing what I know and what Bible beaters were flapping in my face about how I was going to hell. Uh, Obviously, didn't make me a big fan of the Bible or religion.
Yeah.
I'm number three in line as far as my brothers. My two older brothers, they went to Catholic school, so they got, back then, especially here, priests and nuns, they could smack the shit out of a kid and nobody would blink an eye.
Yeah.
So they got
Or
the
raise them or
brutality
kill
of the
them.
Catholic religion. And my mother was in Catholic school her entire school career, from kindergarten through educate, graduation. So she comes from a Catholic background. So it's ironic that I talk like a sailor. I wasn't even allowed to say "darn it" in my house. I get smacked across the house. So now it's just out of spite, I think. But it's almost like Tourette's. I can't even control it. It just comes out of my mouth sometimes. I'm like, oh, sorry. But so I was always taught, and I've even heard from people, that I should die, that were super religious. So I'm not a big person. I'm not really open to
But
hearing, people preach in my face. I accept what people believe. There's a lot of people, especially today, especially here in our culture, people have come across that, even very religious people are, there's nothing in the Bible that says anything about being gay. A man put
no.
that in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And the original, the First Testament didn't have anything about it. The New Testament did. So it was
Does
altered.
our essence doesn't have a gender,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I remember.
Right.
This, here on Earth, if you want to be here on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
it is all as a human.
Mm-hmm.
It is you start as a boy or a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and how you want to experience your life, it's up to you.
Yeah. And trust me, I did not choose this. I did everything I could to not have this be the case. I've never doubted my gender, never wanted
Because
to
of
be the opposite,
others,
because of what
because
society
of
taught
others.
me. Because of what society taught me, that was just not natural, or it just was. It was all because of what I was taught, not because of what I was feeling. I was obviously fighting my feelings. So I had girlfriends and dated girls all through my high school years, and never even questioned myself until I was about 18, 19. Didn't even dawn on me. It
Mm-hmm.
just suddenly dawned on me. It's like somebody hit me with a gay hammer. The doink,
The gay hammer
you're
was a
gay.
good one.
Boink, got me good and hard in my head. Boink, all right, you're gay. But
Well, I have also a nephew,
uh-huh.
my sister's second son, and my sister is into the Bible.
Mm,
And in the beginning, when he told her, but we saw it. We saw it when he was young.
right.
We saw it, and yeah, when you have been raised with the Bible, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you will fight with God,
Yeah.
as they say, like Job did fight with God.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it. You're not fighting with God because God is not in that story at all.
Mm-hmm.
The fight is between yourself.
Right. And some people will fight
Yes,
or commit
between
violence
yourself.
in defense of that, what their belief is. Like some people will commit
Yeah,
violence thinking that they're protecting God's word, or that book, or
yeah,
the sanctity of that. But meanwhile, they're screwing the neighbor. So
yes.
they're very selective about their sins. Um,
Hmm.
You know, they're all eating shellfish, and they're using mixed fibered clothing, and coveting thy neighbor's wife, um, all of the while judging me because of the person I choose to love, or that I happen to love, but I
Yeah,
didn't choose it.
yeah.
He's Russian, Irish, and Polish. I wouldn't have chosen that. Trust me. That happened on its own. Um, and that's where my sense of humor is. If you can't laugh at everything, you got to be able to laugh. I'm with May. I'll be 21 years with this son of a bitch. And
Wow.
it's all in fun, but yeah, times have obviously changed here, especially in New York. It's much more progressive, but I went through hell. I
Mhm.
came out in the 1980s when AIDS was a new thing,
Oops.
and
Yes.
and and gay men were gonna give you AIDS. It was everybody's
Yeah.
perception, and they thought it
Yeah.
was just as contagious as COVID back then.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
didn't even know if sharing a bathroom with somebody was going to give them AIDS. So
Yeah.
the people, there was so much progress made after the 60s and 70s towards gays because people were late. They were allowed to put people in jail, in psych wards for being gay, and then they stopped that. And then things got where people just didn't talk about it. It was known, but it was like, oh, Uncle Tommy over there has never been married, but we know about him, but it was just never discussed. And
Mhm.
his Uncle Fred, that kind of thing. So then all of a sudden, this new plague came about, and it was being inflicted on the world by gay people, by gay
Mhm.
men. So we became public enemy number one, and so that was the worst time for me to come out, at least for that reason, because I went through a lot of hell.
Shall
And
I tell you something?
pardon me.
The person that you see on the screen right now
Hmm.
has a different color as yours.
Hmm. Yep.
I experience also that other people with who are also white, they treat me different because I have another color.
Right. You have a better
So,
tan
huh?
because you have a better tan. I'm jealous.
I don't know if it is jealousy or so. In every area of our lives, we come across things that other
Hmm.
people don't like about us.
Right.
It's their perspective. It's their way of looking at us.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that we are that what they see because I don't feel what he shows me because I am me.
Right. In
I am
complete
me.
darkness, we're all the same. in a dark
Exactly.
in a dark room, we're all the same.
And for me, life is an experience to be a human
Hmm.
and have the feelings, the emotions, the but we can guide those
Hmm.
because when you think that you're only human, then you will never experience the higher possibilities, the higher gifts, the
Hmm.
what we all have inside of us.
Right.
And I choose for that part.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I feel the same way, and it's I do it in a more what seems to be more juvenile way, but it's the same thing. I the energy that I have when it's good, I like sharing that energy.
Mhm.
Whether it be laughing, drinking, having fun, having people in my pool, having people over. We have people over a lot. Um, I
Great.
love sharing the good energy with people around me. I
Mhm.
could walk into a room with 500 people I don't know, and if I'm there for an hour, I'm walking out probably with 10 friends that I met. that's just the type of person I am.
Yeah.
And so I like that. That's why I love this kind of thing, the interaction, especially with the video guesting. That is just such a thing that I was longing for a long time. Periscope never did it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it even so much more. I don't know if intimate is the right word, but it's so much more genuine, I think. My best friend is black. She and her brother they were the only two black people in my entire school. So I come from a very, very crispy white part of Long Island. So she has, plenty of stories. The people fear what they don't know. We didn't have, like some areas that on Long Island were better than others. I know people who grew up in other areas that were mixed, and they had a lot of animosity toward blacks and whites and Puerto Ricans and Hispanic of all different kinds. In my community, you would think, with having so few, you would think that they would have felt alienated. They weren't. They were held to like on a pedestal. So they didn't feel that anger that a lot of other people experienced in other parts of the country, and so they were great. Both, A students. One of them moved away. He lives in California, the brother, and she moved away and came back. So she is now bringing her own children up here in the same town.
Because it is safe for them.
But she's still one of very, very few minorities of any kind in this town. But it's still, it depends on the environment. It wasn't a negative, aggressive environment toward people that were different. In that same community, that was the same community I grew up in. Me as a gay person in the 1980s, I was driven out of town. In 2 weeks, I was out of here. I literally, my family was being terrorized. My world crumbled it imploded within 2 weeks. And I literally was driven out of town. And so,
Why?
we had a very different experience in the same town.
Why do you think that? Why do you think?
Sorry, I keep getting ahead of you. I'm sorry. Why do I think?
No,
What?
just finish. I will
Yeah, no,
remember my question.
I fully attribute it to the AIDS scare. I was my brother. I'm one of four boys. My brother, my oldest brother, and I were popular, and the other two brothers were very introverted and kept to themselves more. So we were well known, and in a very small town, there were only 100 kids in my high school class. It was that tiny. Where typically, like the town I live in now, there's 2,500 kids in the high school class. Yeah. So it was a tiny school. So anybody who had any kind of notoriety, and we were popular in a good way. We had a lot of friends. Just forever had just things to do. We had a great old time. And in the 80s, everybody was outdoors, so we were very active in our friends' lives every single day. When I came out, I was still seeing a girl. I told my mother first. I told my girlfriend second. My girlfriend and I were well known. People were so angry at me, and they were calling my mother's and father's houses, because back then the phone numbers were all public. Everybody knew everybody's phone number. They were calling and hanging up, saying your son should die. It was just, they were brutal. And I just knowing what I know about history and of gay life in here in our country and in New York in particular, being so close to Manhattan, I know that things were better prior to the AIDS epidemic beginning. So I attribute it to the AIDS scare, and people were afraid that I was going to hurt their children. by being around them.
Yeah, but that is what that was the information that it's like what they did with the COVID.
Yep.
It's a deadly
Yeah.
virus.
I remember hearing on the news right before I moved out of state. Um, I remember hearing on the news that they weren't sure whether or not somebody could transmit AIDS by sharing a public bathroom. I remember hearing it vividly. So
Yeah,
now I became terrorized, terrified myself because I'm thinking I'm gonna die.
yeah, but
And
not
back
only
then, when
you.
people were diagnosed, they were dead in 2 or 3 months. It was that fast back then.
I know. Not only you were scared. I was scared too,
Hmm.
because that time, the 80s,
Hmm.
I met the father of my children, and I was
Hmm.
scared to have sex with him because I thought I would get AIDS. Not a baby, but
Yeah.
AIDS.
Right.
But I got four babies, four
Yeah. Yeah.
sons. I know. It's all mind control.
Yeah.
And we have to find a way through the spider web of
Yeah.
all those programs.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a struggle. It's a similar struggle with different circumstances. Um, Takara is asking. She said, "When did you notice the shift of things?" I'm assuming you're directing that to me. I noticed the shift probably in the mid '90s when AIDS started to become. They knew more about it. Um, they knew how it was transmitted, and you weren't going to be able to catch it by touching the same door handle or touching the same sink in a bathroom. That was pretty clear within the first year or two, I think. So I left New York in 1988, um, and I was 19, and I I would say my family wasn't okay with it for probably. I mean, they tolerated it, but they didn't want me to talk about anything. Um, the I moved out of state and I never moved back to my hometown. I didn't even come back to visit for a long, unless it was just my parents and leave. I wanted to see nobody I grew up with. I felt so betrayed by everybody I knew. Cut me off. It was how I didn't put a bullet in my head. I have no idea. Um, it was just I was crushed. The I would say the late '90s is when it really became more acceptable. There were things on TV, Will and Grace, that kind of television show. It was kind of being thrown in people's faces, a little more mainstream, and I think people became better about it. But I also think that that's about the time when the Catholic Church, especially when bad press was coming out about the Catholic Church with priests and that kind of thing, people started leaving the church. And when people got away from religion and they started finding out that their uncle and nephew and son and daughter and people that they knew that they never would have thought of were gay, and they didn't even know it for years, and they realized, what, they weren't any different before. So I think the progression of people, um, as soon but as soon as AIDS became not the gay disease anymore, and it crossed over more into the heterosexual community, I still I would say, and I'm saying this so much about AIDS, I would say easily 70% of the people I was friends with back then are dead from AIDS. I lost that many people in my life. So I was convinced that I was going to be dead. I never thought I was going to make it to 30 years old. 40 wasn't even a question. Um, how I made it to 30 and never got sick because everyone I knew around me was dropping like flies. It's just, I'm just astounded still to this day. whatever little angel was on my shoulder, keeping me at a harm's way. It's really, even people I had been involved with dating, I'd find out sometimes 3-4 months after I saw them that they were dead. And that's how fast it would kill people. So it was a really scary time. It was really, I'm glad I grew up in that time, because coming out of that and growing up in this, because it was so separated and people didn't want to be around gay people, the social community, clubs and bars, was very much segregated. So there were straight bars and there were gay bars, and you could never go in between. And there were a number of times where I went out with my straight friends into straight bars, and I ended up getting into fist fights with people when they found out I was gay. And being a man, they thought nothing of coming up and just punching me in the face. Where a woman, they would just harass them or whatever. The aggression wasn't there for the women. So lesbians could be more in people's faces, but gay men, now forget it, because there'd be 5 guys waiting for you outside. And I know a number of people who got attacked that way. It was tough. It was really, it's real. The thing, while the struggles with people of color, it's very similar to the gay thing, I don't ever equate it, because your skin is your skin. You can't hide your skin. I could have pretended that I was something different to protect myself. So while the ignorance was similar, and the feeling of not belonging in some situations for some people, but I definitely empathize with the struggle of people of color who had problems with ignorance and racist assholes.
But you know what that brought me? That experience of feeling not wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It brought me to myself, and
Yep.
also um, to them, because that is the period that I um realized that if I am not the body, they are also not the body.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are doing as humans is
When you say they,
finding a
you
way.
mean the person that's against you, right? When you say they, if they are not the
Sorry?
body. When you say the word they, you're talking about the person who's not
Yeah,
accepting you. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they forgot, and I forgot it too.
Mm-hmm.
We all do. Some can hold that because they remember,
Mm-hmm.
and they came with the purpose to remember, I think, because
Right.
I lost it. I lost that feeling when I was younger,
Right.
because people couldn't understand me, because I knew that I was different, but how I was
Mm-hmm.
different, that came years later.
Right.
And that was my way to find that the way I thought I was, I am,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not only for me, it's for all of us. I needed to know what I came to do here on planet Earth, because I never felt at home.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
And
I think I began to feel at home probably around 2009, 2010, when
mhm,
the thing for me was, I've always been a fighter. I've always been, um, uh, I'm not, never been one to cower and run away from anything ever, even if I'm gonna get my ass handed to me and killed, you know. So I've always gotten, um, so I've always tried to figure out how am I gonna get back to where I was before they pushed me away. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
um, the betrayal that I felt from my hometown, which at that point, and because my family was so dysfunctional, my father was a son of a bitch. He was a mean police officer. He didn't like me. So my escape from my family and their craziness was my friends. So when my friends betrayed me after I came out, I was devastated. So I left because my parents put me in therapy. They thought I was going through a phase. There was something wrong because they couldn't figure it out. I had girlfriend after girlfriend. So they couldn't figure out what happened to me and where this came from. And so when the only protection I had was my friends, and that was gone. Talk about not feeling like you belong. Holy shit. I literally got on a plane 2 weeks after, and I went to Texas from New York. I moved there to a family friend who was an even bigger psycho than what I left, it turned out. But I ended up staying there a year. I was on my own, and there were times shortly after I moved there, I was living in my car. I was determined I was going to figure it out, and I wasn't going back to New York. I wasn't going home because it was no better here. So as far as I was concerned, at least at the time, you know, 19-year-old that doesn't know shit about shit. It, you know, it really, I wasn't going home. So, you know, I'll figure it out. Things happened there that I ended up changing my mind, and I came back home. There were a lot of bad things that happened when I was there because the ignorance. I thought it was bad here in New York. It was worse. It was worse there.
Yeah.
Far more religious. They're prejudiced just because of people from the north being from New York. They were prejudiced against me for that alone. You know, telling people that you were gay down there. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they even had counties where you couldn't drink in that down there. They were so wrapped in their religion. So
But like in the time of the Ku Klux Klan.
that, I'm sure, I am absolutely sure that there were probably large groups of them there. I'm sure. I would very much, I never saw it, but I would definitely bet on it. And the thing that woke me up to it on how racist they were, was I was in a like a convenience store, like 7-Eleven style, like small supermarket kind of, you know, store. This is when I first moved there, and coming from New York, we didn't say any, you know, if anybody was saying the N-word, they were saying it in secret. You know, in the 80s, it was at that point, people weren't talking like that up here. That was, you know, that very bad word. In the South, people were throwing it around like it was nothing. And a lot of times it wasn't meant bad. It was just a very loosely used word here in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard two police officers, white police officers, talking to each other. And there were 2 or 3 black guys, I would say probably in their 20s or 30s, right near them, as close to them as I was. And they were saying the cops were throwing the N-word around like it was nothing. And these black guys, they didn't even flinch. They were so used to it. And I said, what the frig is, I couldn't, I was upset. I was the only one in the place that was upset about it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And they were just cackling and laughing. And the black guys were just laughing going on with their business. And I'm like, what am I in like the Twilight Zone? What happened here?
Well, it could
That
be.
was my first introduction to ignorance down there, and then I found out about how much they love gay people.
Yeah, you know, ignorance can be useful sometimes because suppose each time you experience it already
Yeah.
by coming out. Okay,
Yeah.
I could choose to experience it each day that people look different at me.
Hmm.
Hey, it will ruin my day.
Right.
So I
It's all
choose
about
not to.
it's all about knowing your self-worth. Is really
Yeah.
really that's what kept me going.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you. That was I've always been for the most part, even if it was on the surface and a lot of it was phony sometimes where I was bullshitting myself. I was very I was always a survivor where I was confident that I was gonna make it work, because
Mhm.
I was happy with what I was doing and my actions. Um, I was happy with me. Just I mean the amount I used to drink was a clear indication that I really wasn't happy with myself. But on the surface, I was okay, um, with me, and that or that I thought that I was worth going through whatever it is to get past this. I never really, I never really had anybody chat with me about stuff. I didn't have any adults to help me through this.
Mhm.
The only adults in my family were totally writing me off.
Mhm.
So I was on my own. And I grew up in a very sheltered family. I never even slept at a friend's house up to this point when I moved out. So I was street smarts
Are you
of being
on
thrown
Mars
out in the
now?
wild. What's that?
Whoa, what's going on?
Sorry, my car shut off. I'm in.
Oh,
It
oh,
was
okay.
my beeping of the battery
Oh,
thing.
I thought you went to Mars.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm there. But I've always been fairly pleased with myself, and happy with myself for the most part. Um, I went through the majority of my 20s. Um, Fortunately, I was, people thought I was cute, so I became popular in that world. Um, and I've always had long relationships, but the minute that
Mhm.
they weren't, I was out having fun. As many hours as I was awake, I was in Manhattan clubs. Like some people would only dream the amount of fun that I had. Um, I was able to, and that's why partying and laughing has always been my medicine to get me through the shit. Because if you overthink stuff, I just find it very, even to this day, I never, I I don't think I'll ever get past a lot of the things that have happened in my life. I don't need
Why
to be
not?
healed. Um, I am,
Do you
I
want to carry
tried,
it,
I
the
tried bringing it
emotion?
out. Pardon me.
Do you want to carry it with you till you die?
No, no, no. If I do, I'm not like it's not a burning goal for me. And I'll tell you why. Because of the things that happened to me when I was in Texas, and they were pretty tragic. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't even realize that I shut them out of my mind. And years later, probably about 2010, I had come back to New York. I was already here. I come back to New York, and I had reconnected using Facebook to my entire
Hmm.
community from home, my home community. And
Hmm.
I just got nothing but I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry from people, and they were telling me their versions of like some of them knew I was gay and they didn't know what to do, and they just I forgave them is
Hmm.
the short version. And I I'm so glad that I reconnected with this community because all of the friendships I had back then times 10 are back and even stronger than they ever were. Um,
So,
and
okay.
so and I'm just so blessed that way, because I was, a lot of people they don't look back, with their hometown, especially with tragedy and stuff like that. But when I was there, bad things happened, and I came back here. I didn't even realize that I shut it down. I come from a suck it up, buttercup, stop your crying, get back to work kind of background. My parents are just like, stop crying or I'll make you cry. So I just shut it down, stifled it, and I just went on with my life, and not having a real direction, because, like I said, the AIDS thing was always in the back of any gay man's head. And I don't have a future, but I'm just going to live for today. It was really just how I began living. I didn't go to college. I planned on going to college when I went to. I literally had the school picked out when I went to Dallas. When you start having your future taken away from you in your head, you don't make long-term plans. So, I was, and anybody my age, we were all convinced that it's only a matter of time till we're all dead of AIDS. That's how we all were living. So the club life became that was what made us survive. Was we had that escape and going to the nightclubs, because that was the only place we were safe, and we could be around each other, like people like us, and that was our sanctuary. So that was my existence for 10 years in the New York City clubs. And all that while, I didn't realize that all the things that had happened to me back in Texas were starting to eat away at my head. And I started drinking a lot, and it turned out I have PTSD. I wrote the story of my life a couple of years ago. And in the process of writing that story, memories came back that I really, really, really wish I didn't remember. So for that reason, I'm okay with leaving it where it was. If it comes to a point where I'm able to process it, fine. It's not a goal today. I don't give a shit.
You do give a shit.
I don't want to feel this way, but I got too many other important things to focus on. I ended up having a nervous breakdown back years ago, when this whole came up, and it just fucking ruined my life. So I'm fine with leaving it tucked away for now. Doesn't mean that I won't address it, but it doesn't affect my life today. I came, that was 30 fucking years ago. Excuse my French. And it's not even French. What is fucking French?
I don't know what fucking French is, but I use it too.
I took 3 years of fucking French. I can't speak French to save my life. But I don't need to be healed right now. My goal today is I still wake up the same. I want to make it a better place. I want to enjoy something good here. My focus is on my mother, who just lost her husband a year ago. She's not well. So my focus is not about me. It's not about healing. It's not about getting past, the past is the past. One day I'll process it, but it's not a priority right now.
Don't you deserve freedom?
Oh yeah,
from that part?
Of course. Yeah, I'm just not ready to. I thought I was ready, and it turned out that months after I wrote that story, my brain just started imploding, and I didn't even see it coming. And I lost years because of it. It put me back, set me back. So I'm not going to go through that again. Or at least I'm not willing to do it now. One day I will, but it's just too much.
You don't have to do all at the same time.
No,
because
No,
it
I know,
didn't
and it's today.
came
Today
into
I'm
your life,
emotional about it, but
you know?
it's. There's other times where I'm not as emotional as today, but
Uh,
the I appreciate the conversation with you. I know you can. I know you can. Hello, Yassine. I know you can relate to some of the pain. I sense that. Um, it's yeah. It's you know my
You know,
my
soul
priorities
brother,
will. Pardon me.
soul brother,
No.
your experience brought you here,
Hmm.
and it will bring you much further.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I've said that to my friend, my best friend, Kat. She had struggles of her own, and I've even with all the negative stuff that happened in my life,
Hmm.
that that changed the direction of my path back to New York. If that hadn't happened to me, I would have continued on to California, which was my
Hmm.
plan, and my life would have been very different. Who knows? I may be dead. If I had taken the right instead of the left, I could
Hmm.
have I could have made some other change and made some other decision that would have changed my path. The long and short of it is today I'm very happy with the life I have. I'm unbelievably blessed with the friends, countless friends that that we have in our life that like really 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 good friends. Um, like if my house burnt down, there would be 100 people building it, like the old Amish. Like that's how close my friendship is with these people that we talk about. My family is all fine with me. My other half, um, Joe is his name. Um, I'm very
Oh,
very happy that I am on this path today because if the shit didn't happen before, I would not have been here.
yeah.
And Joe wouldn't have been graced with my presence in his life. So I'm very happy with where I am today, and I'm thankful for the path, as painful as it was, because I'm in a good place today.
Definitely.
I'm here for my mother, um, and I'm the only one she has at this point right now. If things had gone differently, I would probably not be here. Whether it be I didn't be in a different part of the country, or I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be alive. So
I want to
I'm I'm
ask you,
I'm content. Good.
Fawn, I want
Yes.
to ask you to join me on my broadcast
Hmm.
when you're ready,
Hmm.
because I'm not done talking to you yet.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not opposed to it. It's the the public. Uh, yeah, we'll have to do it. I'll let you know when I'm not overwhelmed. I learned to recognize when it's going to be too much, because it ends up after I'm off and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, especially now with all this time on our hands with COVID. Thank you, China. Um, things 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 start eating
Listen,
away in my head.
Fawn,
Yeah,
Fawn.
yeah,
I'm grateful for China. Otherwise, I wouldn't have met you.
that's right. I joke. I joke about it. The there's been a lot. Although I've lost three family members and two friends because of China, so I have a little bitterness about it. Um, but I say it as a tongue-in-cheek joke. Um, about China, but the fact that we have so much freedom and free time on our hands, when you're busy, you tend to to not have time to think about stuff that stresses you out. Here in New York, we're still shut down, so it's really there's a lot of free time.
awesome
But that's where.
time
But pardon me.
to an awesome time to go within
And that's why I
and
go to the.
release
That's
yourself
why. That's why I love the
from
water.
the pain that you don't want to carry anymore.
hmm And but that, what, that pain, I mean, and part of it is also that pain has made me who I am today, and I'm pretty happy with myself. Probably sometimes too much. Um, the because I'm kind of bulletproof. When people try to play around with me, or try to hurt me, I'm even stronger. I'm So the anger, the pain, that's made me I think a pretty decent person. So as far as the results, um, yeah, I'm quite happy with who I am today. Um, as far as like what my purpose is on the earth, and what I do for people or to people, or I'm very, so there's no self-esteem issue there. Um, like there's no self-hating. I drink just because I like to drink. I'm not, but it's sometimes it's too much, but it's yeah, all of the pain has made me the amazing person that I am today.
Do you believe it, what you say?
Yeah, most of it's tongue in cheek, joking, and but yeah, I am pretty happy
Oh, good.
with yeah, definitely.
As long as you believe it,
Yeah, yeah, because, and you know what, regardless of what somebody else thinks, that if somebody doesn't like, I literally, I laugh. We all love to be loved by many people's, but some people don't get my shtick, and I'm okay with that. I don't go out of my way to hurt anybody. I'm gonna come at them if they come at me. But I'm very happy with the person I'm with and the place that I'm at, and it's all because of other people. I'm an interactive people person. I could never, like, my father could go up in a mountain and never see humans again, and he would have been fine. I'm the complete opposite. I need interaction with other people, and other humans, and the water, and things, peaceful things. I've driven across the country by myself twice, 3 times. I would do it
wow,
again tomorrow. I just love being at, having my alone time and peace with the earth, and connecting with the earth, and also connecting with the vodka bottle and party music.
well, I use something else.
Yeah,
I
I
think most of you already know, yes, I do joints.
yeah. My other half does. It doesn't really. I had I had a bad experience, and I had a major panic attack, because now, since I had this breakdown years ago, my anxiety is like the flip of a switch. I can go off the rails. So that's why I hesitate to get it too deep into my stuff right now, because I just don't feel like I'm there. But the panic attacks, I've had to really train myself to take control of those. And I reluctantly smoked a joint last year sometime, and I had a full blown panic attack. Full blown,
Whoa,
like I thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital. And I
whoa.
was I was hospitalized for that twice, not related to pot. So
Is that
I've
the
got
combination of alcohol, drugs, and the problems that you have
I never well
with your past?
I've never done drugs. That was the first time I smoked
No,
pot
I
in like
mean,
30 years.
I mean pot and alcohol, the combination.
You mean as far as how I got that panic attack that night?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um, I don't remember if I was drinking. I think it possibly was. Um, but and actually shortly after that, I stopped drinking altogether also, because I found that I could literally drink half a vodka bottle by myself and still walk around and talk. So
Right.
I
Your
I
body
love
get used to
vodka.
it.
Huh?
Your body get used to it.
It did. And it's funny, I didn't drink growing up. I didn't come from a drinking family either. I just got used to the overconsumption over the years. But and I don't ever change my drink, so only vodka is what I drink. So my body grew a tolerance for it. But I found when I was having panic attacks, it was always the day after I drank a lot. So I started to put two and two together, and so I got totally turned off and terrified of going into the hospital again. So I stopped drinking for months and months, probably almost a year.
Good.
And that was part of it. I was broadcasting from my bar, which I do at home now when I broadcast from home with Periscope, and I would broadcast 3-4 hours at a clip. And we used to have a game on there. I used to have sometimes 5,000-6,000 people on my broadcasts, and we had a really great thing going on Periscope. But because I was at the bar drinking all night, it went with my broadcasting. So, and as a joke, I would always start my broadcast and I'd show the vodka bottle and say, "This broadcast is brought to you by Sky Vodka. It's not just for breakfast anymore." And that was I became known for that tagline, where I would start that, and it's a joke, but it's not. If you think about it, it's really sad because there are some people who do drink when they wake up. But to me, it was just a funny joke. But anyway, that was one of the reasons I got off Periscope also, because it was just, I was inclined to drink too much. And there were a couple of embarrassing broadcasts where I was crying, on the broadcast. And I said, you know what, this is just too much. I got to stop this shit and grow up.
You crying on Periscope, it's not embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually the one that people come to for strength. So for me, I was embarrassed for myself.
Ooh, that's very heavy. Yeah, if you are, why can't you share what is really going on with you instead of being there for someone else? Who's there for you? Are you there for yourself?
That was the thing. I never came up with that type where I never had it growing up. I never had it to enjoy it. I never had it to know what it was. I paid for therapists when I needed therapists. My friends and family, I've never spoken to them about my personal problems because I never wanted to burden them. So I've always been trained. That was where I was trained. Don't tell people your problems. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
That was how I was brought up.
Here too, with my mom. Family problems stay indoors.
Yeah.
I'm from the older generation.
Yeah. Well, I'm 52, so it's
I'm 56.
Okay, so yeah, so we have the same kind of thinking, especially if you were in America. The social expectations were similar for that generation here, regardless of where we lived. Did you live in New Jersey at that point? You lived in New Jersey at some point, right?
No. The Tabernacle, New Jersey thing is wrong.
Oh.
I live in the Netherlands.
Gotcha. For some reason, I thought you were here and then you went back there.
No, I was on. We went there on holidays when I was a teenager.
Oh, okay.
Coney Island, Bronx.
Yeah.
It was just a holiday for 6 weeks or so.
Okay, now it makes sense. Okay, you speak very good English. That's why I'm very. It sounded like somebody who was a dual citizen.
Thank you. Oh, Tammy Joe.
Hello, Tammy Joe. I didn't want to interrupt.
Hi.
And Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hi, Eric. I will be leaving here soon because I have to start my life.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tie you up.
No. Please don't say sorry. I'm glad that I could spend this time with you.
Yeah, me too.
This is what I like, to sit and talk, and
Yeah, I'm glad. I really, from the minute that I found you on Michael's broadcast, I just found you're quiet. your silence was so intriguing to me. I said I have to follow her, and I followed, and because sometimes you could just read, like you didn't have to speak, and I could almost hear your feelings that day in that broadcast when you were first on Michael's. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad you came in. It's it's really this was the last place I thought I'd think my broadcast was going to go today, but I'm glad you came in, and I'm glad we got to chat.
So you see, expect the best
Mm-hmm.
because you deserve the best because you are the best.
That's true. I agree with that part.
So invite me again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will.
Thank you.
It's very, very nice to speak to you. I'm honored that you came in.
I'm honored that you invite me.
Yeah, I look forward to a long friendship. As long as you can deal with my
Definitely.
F-bombs every once in a while. I promise I'll try to
Definitely.
control it, but fuck it.
It's okay. Fuck it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Much love.
Bye for now. Much love.
Bye. So sorry for you guys who have not seen the comments. I'm sitting here on the water, at the water. That's how we say it here in New York. In New York, and I'm about to. I just came down for a quick broadcast and ended up getting into a great conversation. Yeah, this was a bit of a surprise. The last place I thought I'd be going during my broadcast today. Hello, Sylvia. I'm sorry I missed a lot of your comments today. Tammy Joe, I'm sorry. Are you still there? I was just reading. I was reading your comments as Helga was talking, and you had said that your I think it was your son had married his partner. Thank you, Zakar. Thank you for subscribing. I'll go in and for some reason it's not letting me click it right now, but I will follow people later. Let me see if I can turn this back on. So I have to blow out your ears. Anyway, I think did this freeze up? I'm not sure. Can't tell. Okay, let me Takara subscribe. There we go. Okay. But anyway, I am get on the road. It is what time is it? Oh God, it's 3:35. Oh, I'm still good? Okay. All right, good. I thought I froze. So I think I had seen that you had said your son recently married his partner. He's so happy. Thank goodness things changed for the gay community. Yeah, you know what? I really in some ways I'm happy. Things have gotten better for the gay community, but at the same time I feel that this generation is everybody's in search of what kind of a victim can I be, or who can I be offended for? I'm just gonna reposition my car. I just find that generation of kids, people that are in their teens and 20s right now, Generation Z, are they should be much more confident and strong than they are. I don't like how they tend to reject people of my generation, people like me, people like my friends who have been literally in the street, bloody, uh, because we weren't going to be afraid of being ourselves. Um, this, the younger generation seems to be, for the amount of acceptance that's out there. I wish that they were a little happier and not constantly fighting for attention that they already had. It's hard to explain. It's really I almost feel bad for some of them because they are. I don't know if weak is the right word, but I don't know. Our society has really just been on the hunt for the offended or the hurt people, and they kind of make people victims when they weren't. That's kind of that's just my grumpy Generation X. I'm 52 years old, so I really have obviously I have opinions. I didn't know they're not happier, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you know what? It's really yeah, it's like I got happy just not being attacked. I got happy, I just became happy being able to have somebody know that I was gay. Now they want, they not only want that, but I don't know. I'm just, yeah, never mind. My feelings are all over the place today. The acceptance wasn't enough, it seems. And your son is very lucky to have you support. I hope he understands how lucky he is. Because there's a lot of people who don't have that. Down at the local dock here, and I'm just going to reposition again. That's what I mean. I don't mean to just diminish what you're saying. I'm very happy that your son is okay. I tend to not interact with that generation because they are a little dismissive for my taste of the ones that came before them. I don't believe that I need to jam my whole life story down everybody's throat. If people just let me be who I am and don't get into my personal business, I'm cool with that. I don't need people to be running around with flags on the front of their house. This is a beautiful. It's Tammy's son. Okay, yeah. Is it Tammy's son? I'm sorry, I missed who it was. I tried to go back to the comments. Let me see. I must have missed that. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, Tammy, she must have left, I guess. I wish we were able to see who was currently in here, but anyway, I don't want to get too deep. This conversation was deep enough. Anywho. Well, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna get going, because I'm gonna drive. And I want to put on my music, and I know because I'm connected to. I have my broadcast connected to YouTube. I don't want to. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here. It's cold, but it's nice and sunny. Hopefully, the weather doesn't suck where you are. Yeah, much love to you, my brother. I'll talk to you later. I'm not sure if I'll be able to join. I believe Helga said that you guys were going to be broadcasting at some point, but I'll try to join if I can, or at least view. Um, thank you, Takara. Is that that's how you say that, right? Yeah, it's. I appreciate the the open ears. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't my intention to talk about stuff like that, but um, you guys enjoy your day. I'm going to drive home. It's 3:45 New York time. I'm going to turn on some good music, and I appreciate those of you who subscribed and followed me. I will follow back after I'm done driving, and try to do something nice for people. Make someone else's day better. Somehow, some way, hold a door, let somebody go at the four-way stop sign. Do nice things. Have a good day, guys.